Good morning, this is your Math Sensei, Mr. Spensei, and this is a warm-up on T-charts, and we're also going to go through more on function notation today. So for the equation y equals negative 3x, complete the T-charts and the questions to the right. Use calculator for the tables. I'm just going to tell you, I still think the best way to go about this is using the TI um, 84 calculator, and that will be available to you on the STAR test. So once you have it on, you're going to press the Y equals button, and I'm going to clear this out. You're going to press a negative button, then a 3, then an X, then a plus 7. All right, so Y equals negative 3x plus 7. We have it entered in there. Now we're going to press the blue button right here that says second, and then the button that says graph, because we're going to get a table. And if you notice in blue, it says table. So we have our table there, and we have f of 0. F of 0 just means, in this case, it means x equals 0. All right, so we're going to scroll down to where x equals 0, and we see that y is 7. F of x just means y. Please don't forget that. F of x just means y. Then it says f of 2, where we're going to scroll down, and where it says 2, that means x equals 2, where y is 1, or f of x is 1. Then it says f of negative 2, so I need to scroll up to negative 2, and I get, for x equal to negative 2, I get y equals to 13. Then it wants f of 6, so I have to drop down a little bit, and I go, oh, when x is 6, y is negative 11. And then finally, when x equals negative 8, and I'm going to have to scroll up to get there, I end up getting 31. All right, so continuing on. Then we're given f of x. So this time we're given y, and we want to find x. So we're going to have to look at the y column, and we're going to scroll up until we get to 40. And we see 40 is negative 11. Then it wants us to get to 4, so we're going to keep scrolling down until we get to y is 4. Y is 4 when x is 1. And it wants us to find out what x is when y is 1. Well, when y is 1, x is 2. Then it says it wants to find out what x is when y is negative 2. And x is 3 when y is negative 2. And then it asks for negative 11. And we have 6. And by the way, we already did that once over here. X equals 6 when y is negative 11. Okay? All right. So continuing on with the warm-up, it says find y when f of x equals 1,253. Well, please remember, f of x equals y. Okay, or maybe we should say it this way: y equals f of x, which equals 1,253. Therefore, y equals 1,253. We didn't have to do any calculations because f of x and y are exactly the same thing. Then it says using the calculator, find f of x when x equals negative 130. Well, I could sit there and scroll all the way to negative 130, but that would take a while. So I'm going to use what I know. And what I have is this equation, y equals negative 3. And I'm going to put the variable in x in parentheses, and we should do that every single time. Well, when x is 130, so we're going to plug that in. So we have y equals negative 3, parentheses, negative 130 plus 7. So y equals, so now we're just going to go into the screen. So, to do that, blue button quit, that gets me a clear screen, and press clear if it's not clear. So as in y equals, and I go blue, quit, clear. And we have negative 3, parenthesis, negative 130, parenthesis, plus 7. Now, please make sure that for the negatives, you're using that key. Don't use the minus key. Use this key for the negatives. And we end up getting 397. So f of negative 130 equals 397. All right, then it says find f of negative 7. Well, again, I'm going to use the same formula because I want to get the practice in. So we have y equals negative 3x plus 7. And we want f of negative 7, which is negative 3 parentheses negative 7 plus 7. Now, I recognize I could probably scrolled and gotten that faster. So we have negative 3 parentheses negative 7, close the parentheses, plus 7, and we get to 28. So f of negative 7 equals 28. The last one, it says find f of x equal to negative 14. Find x when f of x equals negative 14. So they're telling me right here that y equals negative 14. Now I could go through and solve this whole thing, or I could just go to y equals negative 3. Actually, I can't do that. I'd have to go to Desmos. I'd have to use Desmos on this. Give me a moment. Let me pause this and let me pull up Desmos and show you what you could do with Desmos on this. All right, I'm going to try this out on Desmos. And so we're going to try to share a screen. Hopefully that's going to work. And hopefully we're seeing hopefully you will see, excuse me. There we go. So hopefully we're sharing the screen. And what we had was y equals negative, where did that go? We had y equals negative 3x plus, 3x plus 7. All right, so we see there that that graph's a nice line, and there it is, and that matches all the data points we had. But what we know is that y is 14, so we're going to solve for x. But then we run into a problem. It won't do it. And we have to change this into a squiggle. And we have to change the x into an n. And when we do that, it solves, and it tells us n is 2.333. Oh, excuse me, this is supposed to be a negative 14. That's my bad. There we go. So negative 14. And like I said, our original equation was this. Y equals negative 3x plus 7. And then we knew that it was 14, negative 14. So then we said, well, negative 14 equals negative 3x plus 7. But looking up here, we had to change the x to an n and the equal sign to a squiggle to make that work. So I'll do it one more time, changing that to a squiggle and this into the n will allow it to solve. And we find out, though, that it's 7. All right, stopping the share. And hopefully we're back on the screen. So when y equals negative 14, we end up ending up using Desmos. We end up finding that x equals 7. All right, using Desmos, we find out x equals 7. All right, I hope that helps. Look forward to seeing you on the next one when we break down some other functions involving fractions. Thank you.